Is we there yet? I'm hungry. I've got to use the little orcs room. Poodle keeps biting me. If you don't shut your yaps, I'm turning this pansy truck right around.
Warboss Gitslaya and his boys sped through the dark corridors and causeways of the dark city of Commorragh in their stolen Drukhari vehicle. Little did they know that they had entered into the territory of the Spine Shredder Death Racers. Soon, Reaver jet bikes began emerging from side alleys and quickly closed the gap with the slower looted prisoner transport.
Is you a truck boy or what, Crumper? Make this thing go faster. I's a goth truck boy, boss. He's not a speed freak. Me job is to get the boys in chopping distance faster. Right. If we can't outrun 'em, let's outfight 'em. Bring the ducker, boys!
Warboss Gitslaya tore the door off the transport with his claw and hurled it at the pursuing bikers. These death racers were used to the most horrific, high-speed, death-defying sport in Commorragh. They easily dodged out of the way. Gitslaya began firing with his big shooter as the rest of his boys climbed atop the vehicle or began firing out of the ports. The spine shredders deftly weaved in and out of orc fire and responded with volleys of splinter rifle fire of their own. This raked over the stolen transport, and Rug Duck caught a score of supersonic crystals to the face as he stood atop the vehicle. He tumbled off the top, and his body was sliced apart by the monomolecular blades that adorned the jet bikes. The death racers were as reckless and daring as the orcs as they began to sideswipe the stolen vessel with their bike blades, tearing deep gashes into it. Not to be outdone in recklessness, Gobsmasher and Leg Ripper leapt from the transport to one of the attacking jet bikes. Gobsmasher made the jump, and Leg Ripper did not, as he bounced once on the causeway before flying off the edge of the raised road and falling into the blackness of Commorragh below. Gobsmasher quickly clubbed the spine shredder in the head, pulping his skull, before unceremoniously kicking the body off the bike. It was at this point that Gobsmasher realized that he had absolutely no idea how to pilot the bike, and he spun wildly out of control as he randomly grabbed at levers and stepped on pedals. He smashed into one of the other death racers, and the two bikes and their drivers also plunged off the side of the causeway with bellows and shrieks. Unbeknownst to the orcs and the death racers, their skirmish was being observed by a cluster of figures bearing long splinter rifles. The spine shredders had cost Arcanol a great deal when they defeated Del Alistar of the Razorbeaks. And Arcanol was nothing if not petty and vengeful. At his command, the snipers took careful aim, waiting for the racers to turn onto the straightaway. Warboss Gitslaya grabbed one of the passing jet bikes with his claw and attempted to heft the thing into the air. Unfortunately, this extra weight caused the grav transport to dip and lean heavily to that side. The death racer was flung from his bike and his body broke as he tumbled down the causeway. Gitslaya quickly released the bike into the blackness below, but not before the prisoner barge had drifted nearly to the edge of the track. Warboss Gitslaya got a good look at the featureless shadows below, and he had no idea how high up he or his boys were.
Our turn, boss!
Gitslaya scrambled to the side of the skimmer that was away from the edge as he held on for dear life. He even fired his big shooter into the blackness below just to give a little bit more thrust to force the transport away from the edge. The death racers were trying to ram the orcs off the road now as they made the sharp turn onto the straightaway. Lunk and Stinker were shredded by more volleys of splinter fire as their bodies tumbled off the top and fell into the darkness below. The skimmer was becoming damaged as well. It was more sturdily built than many of the Drukhari vehicles, but it could still only take so much punishment. Crumper could no longer push the vehicle any faster, and it was beginning to slow down. It was at this moment that Arcanol and his minions fired on the death racers. Showers of splinter fire rained among the spine shredders, and 2 bikers were immediately killed in the first salvo. The others reacted quickly and dodged the crashing jet bikes. The gang was taking serious casualties now, and they couldn't keep up pursuit with this new threat emerging. But they weren't about to let the orcs get away. With one last-ditch effort, one of the spine shredders rammed into the rear of the orc-ridden skimmer. This was just enough to send Gitslaya and his boys careening off the edge of the causeway. The bikers cheered in victory as the orcs plunged out of view, before quickly jetting away from their mysterious attackers, serpentining back and forth on their bikes to avoid additional fire. As the orcs flew through the air in their mangled skimmer, they contemplated their last moments.
"We's all gonna die!" "Shut up, Crumper! We ain't gonna die! Look, there's a nice building right there to soften the fall!"
With that, Gitslaya, Crumper, and his remaining boys crashed headlong into the VIP section of the Deviant Debauchery's Pleasure Spire.